Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rian Lanigan from Dublin, if you don't know who I am. And over the next 45 minutes, I'm going to be sharing 10 proven actionable steps that you can implement today to start generating leads. So the way this is going to work, 10 steps, 3-4 minutes each step, and then at the end I'll have 5 to 6 minutes of Q&A. Is that all right? Cool. So if you can leave questions to the end, that would be awesome, because I get sidetracked quite a bit. And the only other request I have is if I talk too fast, I want you to get up and leave. It will slow me down if everyone starts to leave the room. So, tip number 1. Do I have a click button? Sorry. Thank you very much. So, tip number 1. If you don't have their attention, you don't have a business. This is one of the most critical steps in marketing. If you don't have their attention, you don't have a business. What I'm referring to here are titles. Before you get anybody to take action, you must first get their attention. So I want all of you to take out a pen and a paper and write down these 2 questions you must always ask yourself before you post anything online. Question number 1, is this content adding value? And question number 2, what is the key takeaway for the reader/viewer? I'm going to come back to someone later on in the talk and ask you what those 2 questions were, so I hope everyone's written them down. Now that we have that, the best way to get someone's attention is to, the best way to get someone's attention. I've completely forgotten what I was supposed to say there. Bear with me 2 moments. The best way to get someone's attention is ask the 2 questions. Pardon, say that again, Barkley? I was hoping I was going dummy curve. I've completely frozen on that point, but I'll come back to it in 2 moments. The second point is, if they're not engaging with you, who are they engaging with? Now that we have their attention, which I will come back to, now that we have their attention, we want to get them engaging with our content. But we want the right people to engage with our content. Followers, likes, reach, comments are all absolutely meaningless if the right people are not engaging with our content. So, how I build a profile of the right number of followers. I'm going to share 2 ideas of how I build a right profile of followers. Every day I log into LinkedIn, I go to Sales Navigator and I search the following 3 criteria: region, job title, and company headcount. And I will send a personalized message to 30 people every single day, so I'm building my profile of the right people. And once I've done that, to get them engaged with my content, there's 2 tips I have for you. 1, thought-provoking questions. Questions such as, what is the 1 attribute a new hire must have? And you can implement these in your worlds. And the second one is, I get them to comment on my content. So with any content you post on any social platform, there's 3 sections to it. The first section is a title, to grab their attention and pull them in. The second section is the piece of content to get them engaged, to wet their lips. You don't want to give them all of the good golden content away. And the third bit is to get them to comment to see the rest of the content. So in my world, what I would do is I would open with an engaging title to grab their attention. I would then give them a bit of the content, and after that I would encourage them to comment yes below. So that's how I get people to engage in my content. Going back to titles, I don't know if I can go back on slides. I can. So, as I said, if you don't have their attention, you don't have a business. The 2 questions that I said were most important were, 1, again, this topic here, I just keep getting brain freeze on this one. I apologize about this. How embarrassing. Nobody likes to be told what to do, so here's what you don't do. In this, I'm referring to video marketing. On video, on LinkedIn, video creates 5 times more engagement than any other type of content on LinkedIn. But there's a couple of things that you need to nail if you're going to do video right. There's 4 don'ts when it comes to video. Number 1, lighting. Bad lighting. So, if you're shooting a video indoors, stand near natural light. Don't stand with your back to the window as you'll look like a silhouette. Stand to the side. That's if you're shooting videos indoors. If you're shooting videos outdoors, there's 2 times that you should be shooting a video at. One, 5:30 to 6:30 in the morning, and the other one, 4:30 to 5:30 in the evening. Why? Well, because it gives that blue tint to the video, and it makes people believe that you were up at 4:30 in the morning shooting a video. So, nobody likes to be told to do, so here's what not to do. Second, bad audio. You don't want to give people a reason to stop watching your video. So the simple solution here, for all the Americans, and Europeans you can translate as we always have to do, for all the Americans, go to Walmart, pay $30, $40 for a clip-on mic that you can use with any smartphone, and that will solve all your audio issues. Thirdly, shaky videos. One of the worst kind of videos I see is when I see someone take out their smartphone, record a video, and their hands are shaking. Unknowingly, your hand's shaking. Whether it's straight as hell, it's always going to shake. So there's a simple solution to this. 1, if you have a camera that's valued at about $500 or more, and you bought it in the last 2 or 3 years, don't worry. It has inbuilt stabilization. If not, here's a budget option. It's one of the options I use. Again, go to your local electronics store and you buy the DJI Osmo Mobile or any branded stabilizer that works with a smartphone, and it will prevent your videos from shaking. Again, we don't want to give people any reason to stop watching our videos. And fourthly, don't ramble. Tell a story. The example I'm going to use is from Pixar. We're all familiar with Pixar, yeah? The Liam Neeson movie, Taken. So, with Pixar, they have a 5-step strategy to any movie or story they tell. You'll want to write this down. In the beginning, something happened. Because of that, as a result. So, let me break that down. We'll use the Liam Neeson Taken movie as an example. In the beginning, Liam's daughter flew to Paris. Something happened. Liam's daughter got kidnapped. Because of that, Liam flew to Paris. Because of that, Liam had to fight baddies, and as a result, Liam rescued his daughter. It's a 5-step strategy to creating any good video. And Pixar use it so you know it's good. So, step number 4. What's the point in sending it if they don't open? What I'm going to speak about here is emails and how I have got a 65% and above open rate on all emails I send out, mass emails I send out. There's 2 ideas that I want to share with you today. Number 1, titles. Earlier on, I'd love to say I spoke about it, I attempted to share with you the importance of titles. Why are titles so important? They grab people's attention and they pull them in. So, what will make someone open or not open your email all depends on your title. And the second most important thing is content within the email. So let's start with content within the email while my brain attempts to work on that titles again. So content in the email. If anybody here is sending out a generic weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly email, stop. Here's what you should be doing. Take out a pen and paper and draw 2, 3, 4, or 5 circles right now. You want to identify the 2, 3, 4, or 5 areas you want to be known for. I'll give an example. Area number 1, sales leadership. Area number 2, recruitment. And area number 3, prospecting and qualifying. Now that I've identified my 3, and you're working on yours at the moment, what you're now going to do is, you're going to look at your LinkedIn database. If anybody doesn't know how to download it, come to me afterwards and I'll show you how. But when you've downloaded your LinkedIn database, you're going to go through all of them, and you're going to put them into the correct category. Once they're into the correct category, you're going to send them emails that they start wanting to receive. So if we look at HR managers, and we start sending them the recruitment emails, or we looked at the sales reps that we have in our database, we start sending them the prospecting and qualifying, or we looked at the sales managers and we start sending them the leadership and management emails. They're reading content that they're interested in. So first we work on our titles, and once we've nailed titles, then we work on the content with inner emails. So what you need to do is you need to identify the areas that you want to be known for and work on creating 2, 3, 4, or 5 different kind of emails that you're going to send out on a monthly basis. Got it? So, number 5. If greed is good, more is better. What I'm talking about here is how to go viral, how to get as many people looking at your content as possible. So, I'm going to share 2 tips with you. But before I share them, I already spoke about engagement and how to get people engaging in your content. By implementing the strategies I've showed you for engagement, you're going to get more eyeballs. Think of it. Let's take a step back for a second. If I get 20 people commenting on my content, other people that are connected to them are going to see my content. So you're going to get more eyeballs on your content regardless. And in terms of titles, if I'm opening with a good title that grabs people's attention, I'm going to get more people looking at my content. But there's 2 other strategies that can help you go viral with the right kind of people. And they're pretty simple. Consistency. Consistency is vital. Everyone in this room has a cookbook. You should be creating a weekly marketing calendar of what you're going to put out. So let me give you an example. On Monday, I'm going to post twice a day. On Monday, tip of the week, and a podcast. On a Tuesday, a video and a blog, and so on and so forth. After you've identified your 2, 3, 4, or 5 areas, you then put out content for those people specifically, so you're being built as a thought leader within your area. So, once we've become consistent, and the beauty of this is you don't need to create any content. Mike and Rachel and all the guys at marketing are creating all this content for you on a daily basis. So once we've become consistent, the next vital ingredient to going viral is commenting on your followers' content. 3 types of people you can comment on. Your current clients, your prospects, and anybody with a large following in your area. Let me break that down. If you take 3 or 4 minutes every day to leave 1 thoughtful comment, I'll take 15 and I'll leave 3, 1 thoughtful comment on a client, prospect, or large followers, if you put effort into it, the actual comment you leave on the content can get more views, engagements, and comments than the person's content itself. I've left comments on people's content where I might get 50 to 100 likes and the person themselves got 2 likes. I'll get more comments under my thread than the person will get under their thread, and all it takes is taking 2 or 3 minutes. If you do that, your organic reach and people will connect with you in your area that you didn't even know existed. So, this one is really, really, really important. I'm going to reiterate it. Consistency is key. Nothing happens overnight. Everyone knows that Rome wasn't built in a day. And the second one, comment on your connections content. 3-4 minutes it takes to think of a thoughtful comment. If greed is good, then more is better. The next one is quite simple. Avoiding snafuss. It's the opposite of what I've just spoken about. How not to go viral. How to stop yourself going viral. So you don't want to do this. What is snafuss? I was hoping someone wouldn't ask me that because I've completely forgot what it is. And I'm not connected to the internet. I haven't been connected to it. So if you could Google it, that would be great. But now that's 2 embarrassing moments. But as soon as you Google snafuss, it will tell you what it is. Avoiding snafuss is the opposite of going viral. There's 3 things you do not want to do when you're marketing on any social media platform. Number 1, external links. Let me explain what I mean by external links. Let me give an example. You take this Sandler Summit 2019 promo video from YouTube, you copy and paste the URL, and you post it on your LinkedIn. Who's done this? Pretty much everyone in the network has done this. It's a good video. I like the video. But it's not the correct way to get more eyeballs on your video. A client of mine, I copy and pasted this YouTube URL, posted it on his LinkedIn, and I got 108 views. A week later, I uploaded the video directly and got 11,800 views. I did nothing differently. The text didn't change. What changed was LinkedIn. LinkedIn helped me. If you post an external link, LinkedIn are not going to help you because you're taking people away from their platform, and they sell advertising based on the amount of time people spend on their platform. So if you work against them, they're going to work against you. So you want to keep people on the platform, spending time on the platform, and LinkedIn will help you and promote your content. LinkedIn video, I mentioned earlier on, has 5 times the number of engagement than any other content you post on LinkedIn. 108 eyeballs versus 11,800. That is huge. And I did nothing other than what LinkedIn told me to do. Number 2 that can stop you going viral. Emails. Posting your email in your status update. Again, it's seen as an external link. How do I post my email? Because I do it quite a bit. Rian, open bracket, AT, close bracket, Sandler, open bracket, DOT, close bracket, com. 2 reasons. 1, it's not picked up as an external link. And 2, I don't get bots picking up my email, and I don't get a lot of spam to my inbox. 2 positives. And thirdly, tagging connections. I'm not going to tell you to stop tagging connections when you put up content. But if you tag 20 connections and you get a response from 2 of them, whether it's a like or a comment, that's a poor result. LinkedIn will see you as growth hacking, and they're going to reduce your organic reach. So if you're going to tag anybody, you want to be sure that they're going to react to your content. I tag people all the time, but I'll give them a heads up and saying, hey, I'm putting this up. The reason I'm tagging you is because I think you're a thought leader or a blah, blah, blah in this area. I'd appreciate a like once I put it up. So I know that they're going to engage in my content. Number 6, avoiding snafuss, the opposites to preventing you from going viral. Number 7, the Slingshot Effect. Pre-promotion. How to get your content to go viral before you even post it. It's quite simple. I'm going to give 2 examples. We're all familiar with the How to Succeed podcast that Mike does. Let's leverage that. What if you were to write a blog or take a 60-second snippet of a golden piece of content from Mike's podcast and share it with your network? Again, to wet their lips and give them a bit of pre-appetizer to encourage them to listen to the rest of the podcast. Pre-promotion. Let's use another example in the blogging world. My name's Andy. I'm a franchise owner. I write an article on generating referrals. I know that next week I'm going to write an article on the budget step. Why don't I tell people? There's people in my network that will read the Asking Referrals blog that will have an interest in the budget step. Here's exactly what I would say at the bottom of that article. Next week, I'm going to write an article on the budget step where I'll talk about pain 1, pain 2, pain 3. If you're interested in getting an early access copy to it, leave your email below. 2 things you're doing here. 1, you're building your email list. Make sure to send them to that correct area. And 2, you're generating eyeballs on your content before it even goes live. How hyped up would you be if you knew that 100 people were waiting to read your content? 100 of the right people were waiting to read your content. The Slingshot Effect. Number 7, pre-promotion. I'll do a quick recap of all these at the end as well. Number 8, you bring the audience, I'll bring the candy. Another story I want to tell here. Will Barron is the host of a podcast in England called a Salesman Podcast. He has 600,000 monthly active listeners, and the target profile is sales managers and sales reps. If you're an English franchise owner and you have not yet been a guest on his podcast, you should be. If you bring the audience, I'll bring the candy. What you're doing here is you're trading your time and expertise in return for borrowing a large audience. Now, I've just shared an example in the English world, but in your world, you type your city that you're from and type podcast. And I guarantee you there'll be podcast hosts in your city that have an audience that you want to target. You trade your time and expertise to borrow a large audience. There's plenty of ways you can do this. It doesn't just have to be with podcasts. It can be with blogs. It can be with videos. A client came up to me recently and said, Rian, great idea. Will has a huge podcast, but I'm not sure I have something to offer him because I only have 900 followers. Okay, you're looking at that the wrong way. You have 900 followers, but you're a Sandler franchise owner and you know so much about selling and sales. So, leverage that. Don't worry about how many followers you have. Will, in the example here, is always looking for content to give to his audience. And what better than Sandler training? Skinning the cat. Number 9. Another story I'm going to tell you. So, this is breaking up your content into sections to generate more money. We're all in this for money, so I'm going to use money as an example. I'm going to run from one side of the stage to the other side to give 2 different examples. So, I write a 2,500 word blog on the budget step. And I publish it and I get 1,000 views. 1,000 of the right people looking at my content. That's pretty cool to me. That's one blog, 1,000 words. Now, if I was to break that up into six micro blogs and get 1,000 views on each, that's being a little unfair on myself because if I use any of the previous techniques, I'm going to generate more and more and more views on each blog. But let's play it fair. 1,000 views on each is 6,000 views if I break it up, or 1,000 views if I publish it all together. Now let's say I promote a webinar on the budget step at the bottom of that blog. And out of the 1,000 people that have read the 2,500 word blog here, I get 10% to sign up. That's 25. Same result over here. 10% to sign up, that's 125. Let's break it down a bit further because money matters. 10% of the webinar come and crash a class. That's 12. That's 12 people that I've got. I break it down over here. That's 25 people I've got. I break that down further and I can close 50% of people. On deal number 1, I've generated whatever new client is worth in your world. Let's say it's 2,000. I've generated 6x that over here. So if a new client is worth 2,000 in your world, I've generated 2,000 from client by publishing one blog and not breaking it up. And by breaking it up, I've generated $12,000, euros, pounds. Skinning the cat. Breaking up content. Number 10. Emersons Law of Compensation. People love free stuff, but they hate having to give away information to get that free stuff. So don't make them fill in their information. Let me share another story. My name is Connor, and I own a franchise. LinkedIn ebook. I share an update on my LinkedIn network, and I say, hey, we have this great asset, the LinkedIn ebook, and I'm going to give it away to anybody who wants it. Comment yes below. Now, I'll open with a good title. I'll give them a bit of the content, and if they want it, they comment yes below. Sandra comments yes below. So, Connor opens up a LinkedIn email and sends it to Sandra, and just sends her the LinkedIn ebook with a word or two saying, here, Sandra, here's your book. A lot nicer than that. 24 hours later, now he's just sent her the PDF. He's not sent it to a landing page to fill in his information. 24 hours later, Connor follows up with Sandra and says something along the lines of, hi Sandra, hope you found some value in the LinkedIn ebook. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer them. By the way, I'm running a webinar next week on generating leads from LinkedIn. we'll talk about pain 1, pain 2, and pain 3. Hook, hook, hook. Here's a link to sign up. You get 20 comments, you get 50% of people sign up, that's 10 people sign up to the webinar. So, Emerson's Law of Compensation. But what you might be wondering is, Rian, that's great. I've opened up a conversation on LinkedIn. I've sent Sandra a PDF, but I don't have her in my CRM. You do. When she signs up to the webinar, you have her in your CRM. You must first build trust and rapport, then you'll get them into your CRM. So, let me quickly go over those 10 points again. Backwards. Number 1, if you don't have their attention, you don't have a business. What I referenced here was one of the most critical points in marketing. You need to get someone's attention before they take action. And there's 2 questions you must always, always ask yourself, and they are, is this content adding value? And what is the key takeaway for the reader/viewer? Now, earlier on I forgot. I've given myself time and I've remembered what I was going to say here. I want to do a little test with everyone. I hope this works out, because if it's not, this is going to be a third embarrassing moment. The test is, I'm going to help you become title gurus. I'm going to give you 2 titles. One that I think is an average title, and one that I think is a really good title. So, title number 1, Enterprise Selling Interview with Rian Lanigan. And title number 2, The Secret to Growing and Creating Large Enterprise Accounts with Rian Lanigan. Now, if you would click on title number 1, I want you to raise your hand. And if you would click on title number 2, I want you to keep your hand down. I'm hoping the whole room keeps their hands down. In 3, 2, 1, vote. Thank you. So, why is title number 2 better than title number 1? It speaks to people on an emotional level. Now, not that title specifically, you've got to implement it in your world. But it speaks to people on an emotional level. So, Rian, how can I become better at generating titles? Here's what I want you to do. Every day, whatever you look at on the news, whether it's Fox News, BBC News Online, your Facebook news feed, your LinkedIn news feed, I want you to pick 3 articles. And I want you to come up with 3 alternative titles to each article. So at the start of every day, you should have 9 titles. And I want you to go to 3 people that you know that can be honest with you and say, hey, which one of these 3 titles, which one of these 3 titles, and which one of these 3 titles would you be most likely to click on? I want you to do that exact activity for 30 days, and I guarantee you in 30 days you'll be a title guru. But it's not 30 days from now, so I want to share 3 titles that generate eyeballs all the time with you. Title number 1, how to. How to close a sale or close the file. Implement it in your world. Title number 2, if I had a magic wand, ... And title number 3, top 12, top 8, top 6 lists. Don't go above 12 as the drop-off rate is tremendously high. So again, if you don't have their attention, you don't have a business. Number 2, if they're not engaging with you, who are they engaging with? Now that we have their attention, we want them to engage with our content. 2 ways. 1, thought-provoking questions. And 2, we want them to comment on our content. The way I do it, I break it down into 3 simple sections. 1, engaging titles to pull them in. 2, give them a bit of content to wet their lips. And 3, if they want to see the rest of it, they must comment. In my world, I say comment yes. And I know a few of you do that as well. Keep that up. 3, nobody likes to be told what to do, so here's what not to do. To quickly summarize this, bad lighting. If you're indoors, get near a light. Don't stand with your back, you'll look like a silhouette. Stand to the side. Outdoors, 5:30 to 6:30 in the morning. If you're not up that early, like me, 5:30 to 6:30 in the afternoon, and everyone thinks you're up early. Bad audio. a clip-on mic you can buy at Walmart for 30, 40 bucks that works with any smartphone. Don't ramble, tell a story. I gave the example of the Pixar movie, 5 stages. If you haven't written them down, here's a second chance. In the beginning, you're setting a time and a place. Something happened. Because of that, and as a result. And finally, shaky videos. Easiest way to do that, buy a stabilizer. I said, if your camera's worth over 500 bucks and you purchased it in the last 2 to 3 years, you've got an inbuilt stabilizer. If not, the DJI Osmo Mobile, it's about 150 bucks. Number 4, what's the point in sending if they don't open it? I spoke briefly about how I have got a 65% email open rate. 2 tips for this. 1, work on your title. It's the first thing people will see, and that will be the deciding factor on whether they open it or not. And secondly, the content. Those 2, 3, 4 circles, the areas that you want to be known for. It takes a bit of time, but we're not in this for a month. We're in this for 5, 10, 15, 25 years. Spend that weekend or that extra afternoon downloading your list. Again, happy to share that with anybody who doesn't know how to do it. And segment the people into the right area and send it to them so they're reading content they are interested in. No more with this generic emails. Number 5, if greed is good, then more is better. How can we get more of the right people looking at our content? It's not that hard. If greed is good, more is better. 2 extra tips I shared on this one. Comment on your connection's content. Take 5, 6 minutes, leave a comment. Do it 3 or 4 times a day, and you'll organically grow your following without even knowing it in the right area. Consistency is key. Day in, day out. You train this stuff, so you already know it. Avoiding snafuss. How to stop yourself going viral. Don't do any of these. External links. Don't copy and paste the blog link. Don't copy and paste the YouTube link and share it on LinkedIn. If you are going to copy and paste the blog link and you want to drive traffic to your Sandler slide lid, post that in the comments section. I'm not saying don't do it. Give them a bit of the content. If they want to see the rest, they got to go to your site lid and read it. Emails. Don't include your email. 1, you will attract a lot of spam email. And 2, it's seen as an external link. So whatever your name is, Rian, open bracket, AT, close bracket, Sandler, open bracket, DOT, close bracket, com. And thirdly, tagging connections. If you're going to tag a connection, let them know. If they don't respond and you tag 20 connections, it's seen as growth hacking. And LinkedIn don't like that. 7, the Slingshot Effect, pre-promotion. How to get more views on your content before it even goes viral. I shared an example in the blogging world. I write an article on asking for referrals, and at the bottom of it, I promote the next article I'm writing next week on the budget step. Sounds something like this. If you're interested in reading my article next week where I talk about the budget step, where I explain point A, point B, and point C, leave your email in the section below, and I'll email you an early access copy of the content. Number 8, you bring the audience, I'll bring the candy. You're all experts in the selling field. So leverage that. Borrow a large audience for your time and expertise. I'm happy to help you to find the audience, but a quick Google search with your state, your area, and top podcasts will help you find it. And similarly speaking with videos and blogs. You bring the audience, I'll bring the candy. This tactic alone has helped one of my clients grow by 1,000 followers, of the right followers, overnight. How much would 1,000 more people of the right people viewing your content mean to you? Number 9, skinning the cat. Breaking content up into sections. You put time and effort into that 2,500 word blog. Why put it out once and never put it out again? Okay, 1,000 views are good on a piece of content, but what if I was to get 6,000 by breaking it up into 6 different micro sections And again, I said, you're not growing with each section, because speaking truthfully, you're going to grow with each blog you put out if you implement the previous 8 steps. Skinning the cat, breaking content up into sections. I shared how if you break the 2,500 word blog, 10% of those, which is 25 people, attend the webinar. You get 10% of those, and you close 50%. Exactly the same over here. The difference was 10 grand in the difference. And that's only saying a client's worth 2 grand. Some of you guys make a lot more than 2 grand on a client. And number 10, Emersons Law of Compensation. People don't like to give away information for free stuff. Think about it. How many times have you been sent a link to a landing page, you've been asked to fill out your information and your email, and you hesitate? Or my pet peeve is when I get asked for a free trial and I get asked to enter my credit card information. So give people the content for free, but we still want them in our CRM. But the reason we're giving the content for free the first time is to build that trust and rapport. Remember, we're not in this for 1 or 2 days. We're in this for 10, 20, 30 years. So that's a summary of my talk. My top 3 takeaways: the importance of titles. I've shared with you how to become a title guru over the next 30 days. I promise you that if you implement what I said, 3 articles, 3 alternative titles, 3 honest people, every single day for 30 days, you will become a title guru. I'm a D student in English. After my junior cert, which 14, 15 years old, my teacher pulled me inside and put me in the silly class for English. And now I work with clients to help generate titles for them. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. Give, then get. Give, then get. The idea here is that we want to give the information away, then get them into our CRM. And finally, breaking up content. I shared the advantage of breaking up content. We 6x the number of views, and we 6x the total revenue at the end. So, with 7 minutes left to go, I'll open the floor to questions. And I do appreciate your time, investing your time to come in here today, because I know I am the last thing between you and the bar. And it's not common that an Irish person stops people going to the bar. So if you don't have any questions, I'll find you in the bar. Thank you for listening to me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Rian. You got a question here? Yeah, go ahead.
Rian, quick question on the, I know that LinkedIn wants native links. They don't want these external links, but I use Buffer as my queuing. Almost everything I'm doing is external. So when you're using one of these queuing, suites.
Yeah, I do it myself sometimes as well.
I mean, when I'm posting stuff from our website,
yeah,
is that something that LinkedIn's looking at saying, we don't like that?
Yeah.
So how do we do that? Because a lot of our content is stuff from our website.
Okay, you post the link in the comment field below, and you give them an appetizer. So you get their attention via a title and give them a bit of the content. And to read the rest of the content, they click the link in the comment field below, which brings them to your website. LinkedIn don't notice if you post it in the comment field below.
One more back here.
How much time total are you spending on LinkedIn? I would say pay time and no pay time.
Say that again.
How much time, well, you spend all of your time on LinkedIn, but how much time would you recommend a franchisee spend, either pay time or no pay time, on LinkedIn?
Okay, for every franchise I work with, I spend 10 hours a week on LinkedIn. That's 2 hours a day. But I do a lot of video editing, podcast editing. A lot of that is done for you. You don't need to spend any more than half an hour a day on LinkedIn. Dan.
Great talk. Thanks.
Thank you.
Should we comment also on our competition's posts?
Yes.
Thanks.
And one here?
Roy.
Nice one, Rian. Nice job. One of the big takeaways I got from there was comment on connections comments. Now, if
Content.
I follow someone who I'm targeting,
Yep.
is that a decent strategy? Comment on the stuff?
That's a brilliant strategy.
Cool. Thank you.
That was easy.
One thing I like to say there is there's billions of people around the world begging for someone to pay attention to them on social media. If you're the one commenting on their post, they're going to notice, right? You notice who comments on your stuff because that's what you're paying attention to.
Hey, just one more question, sorry. I'm Dragan. Have you met before? No?
Serbia.
Yeah. Oh
Yes.
my God. You know for Serbia, it's not Syria.
I love your
It's
shoes,
not
by the way.
Syria.
I love your shoes.
Really?
Yeah.
I bought it in Verona, Italy.
Yeah.
Okay, one question. If I understood correctly, you said no provoking questions. Am I...
Thought-provoking questions.
Say again, sir?
Thought-provoking questions.
Using thought-provoking questions, like open-ended questions that'll get people thinking and commenting on those posts.
Okay, thank you for clarity. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're D?
Translation.
Yes.
And in the back, we got it, one more. And while I'm walking, Rian, I was going to say, I was also a C student in English, and I use Grammarly, which helps out a lot. I just got to notice I've written 3 million words for Sandler in the last 3 years.
Grammarly is a
all
lifesaver.
spell checked. So there you go.
Hi, Rian, it's Dion.
Ah, hey. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. So I missed some of your talk, but what do you find is the best engaging content at the moment on LinkedIn?
Breaking your content up into the areas you want to be known for. Using engaging titles to bring people in. The top content at the moment that I use for all my clients across the board, budget step, close the file, the templates that Evernote have out there. They're 3, and I'm happy to have a conversation with yourself and Tom to talk about more of that later on.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Thanks, Rian. We'll head to the
Thank
bar.
you very much.